Okay, guys. Let me zoom out. Control minus, minus, minus. Okay, so I have my brush. I've got the brush picked. I've got the hard round picked. Got the color black. So we make lines. Notice they're all the same size, right? And the reason they're all the same size is because we don't have any brush settings turned on. So let me undo that. If we go with shape dynamics, that controls the size of the brush. But right now it's off, so we need to set that to pen pressure. So that means when I press lightly, I get really light lines. If I press harder, I get big lines. But it's it's kind of sensitive, so if you press super lightly. Otherwise, you just need to change the size of your brush. With the bracket keys, your brush size can go down. One thing I do is I prefer to set my brush sizes to precise. So I will go to Edit, go down. You may not be able to see this. Preferences is at the bottom, and then at Preferences, you pick Cursors. Okay, so if I set this to be precise, or rather, sorry, normal brush tip, it will show me the brush tip. I could hit full size brush tip, it'll show me the size. So let's set that to full size brush tip, and let's set. We can leave the eyedropper the way that is. That's fine. So let's hit OK. So now I have this circle. If I hit my, I've programmed my game device here to be to have all my shortcuts, but you'll be hitting your bracket keys on your keyboard, and that'll change your size. Okay, and you can zoom in and out. Let me zoom in so that we can get this going. Let's clear this. So like I was saying, pen pressure controls the brush size. Okay, your X key will switch between your foreground and background color. So right now it's on pressure, right? Okay, so shape dynamics changes the shape of the brush. Transfer controls how much ink is or rather how much of the color is transferred to the paper. So if you press harder, you'll get more. If you press lighter, you get less. And the opacity jitter is what controls that. So that needs to be on pen pressure. So let me turn off shape dynamics so it's all the same size so you understand. So right now, if I press lightly, I get very light lines. If I press hard, I get hard lines. And they're all the same size because shape dynamics is turned off. So right now the shape is all the same. If I hit shape dynamics and then do the same thing, I'm getting really thin lines. Thin lines. Let me clear some of this out. Oh. Okay, so transfer and shape dynamics. The thin lines are very transparent. Pressing harder gives me opaque big lines. Got it? If I turn off transfer, they're all black, regardless of the pressure, but the size changes. If I turn transfer on and turn shape dynamics off, they're all the same size, but the pressure controls how light they are. Got it? I hope so. This is kind of hard to wrap your head around, especially in one quick 5-minute session, but I wanted you to understand that, how the brush settings work. Oh, here's the other thing. Notice that I've got shape dynamics on and transfer on. So if I press real hard, or somewhat medium pressure, I got lines like this, right? And if I cross them, you can still see them, right? But now I'm getting all different kinds of grays at different values. So I've set my front button to be the panning tool, the space bar, and I've set the back button to be the alt tool, the eyedropper tool. So if I hit the back button, I can grab different values. Now keep your eye over here on my swatches. I can change the values just by tapping. I'm holding down the Alt key on my pen. So I can just grab a color and then I'm drawing with that line. Now if I press really hard, I'm never getting black because this is black. Or this is not black, rather. I need to click on the reset little icon over here to get black. If I want full on black, I would turn off transfer so that every line that I make is black. Okay? And if I want to change the color, again, hit the back button over here and just tap somewhere. So if I tap in white, I've just turned this white, and now I can draw white lines with whatever pressure I want. You know, if I go very lightly, I get really thin lines. Okay, so that's how you can control the opacity of your lines and the size of your lines. All right, let me clear that out. And one last thing, let me turn on transfer, set that back over here. So now I've got lines that are changing size, changing opacity with pressure. Okay, let me go back. The one last thing you would want to think about is scattering. If I turn on scattering and click on the word itself, right now it's off. Okay, if I set that to pen pressure and then crank this up, I'm spreading out lines, so I can draw really thin lines. But the brush tip shape is a circle. Okay, so I press really hard, I get big circles. If I press really lightly, I get gray and somewhat transparent. Okay, if I switch to white and press really hard, I got white going on. But see how I just do like a little stroke and it does all of this? Switching the back to black and going across the middle. And you can just build this up. And you can change up your tip shapes. Okay? I hope that is enough to understand the more complex brush settings. I really don't mess with anything other than shape dynamics for size, scattering for however many. I just turn that off, and now I'm back to a single line. All right? Transfer, turn that off. Now I'm just back to straight, plain old black. Okay? But really, those are the only three things I play with. Transfer, shape dynamics being 90%, scattering just, for making clouds or whatnot, or just textures. Okay, I hope that's helpful. I will show a couple more techniques as far as coloring your character, and let's see how this works out. I hope this is helpful.